want to begin this hour with the latest on the breaking news from Paris. The man whom police consider as the ringleader, the organizer of the Paris attacks, is dead. The French prosecutor, François Molin, confirming this morning he was killed in yesterday's ferocious raid in Saint-Denis, which is a neighborhood to the north of Paris. Let's go right back to Paris and our Ellen Moreau, who's going to lead off our coverage. Ellen, we're just getting some of the early details, but what do we know on this so far?
Well, Heather, we heard from the Paris prosecutor in just the last half hour, again, with that confirmation that the suspected ringleader in the Paris attacks, Abdelhamid Abaoud, was killed in yesterday's raid. Now, we knew that he was the target of that raid, but we've really been waiting for the last 24 hours since that raid wrapped up in Saint-Denis to find out whether or not he was one of the people holed up inside that apartment. Now, last night, the French prosecutor confirmed that he wasn't one of the 8 people arrested, but he did say that there were bodies still on the scene that needed to be identified. Now we have that confirmation that one of those bodies belonged to Abaoud. The prosecutor said his body was riddled with bullets, identified using skin samples, fingerprints, and the other body found on the scene, according to reports, belonged to a relative, Abaoud. That was a woman who blew herself up during the police raid. So the fact that Abaoud, the suspected ringleader in the Paris attacks, has now been confirmed dead, that will be seen as a victory for French law enforcement officials. But it does also raise a lot of questions, the fact that he was here in Paris, because he was believed to be in Syria fighting with ISIS up until just a few days ago. So now there is a major question about how a well-known ISIS militant, someone who had appeared in several ISIS videos, was able to slip back into Europe and allegedly coordinate the attacks we saw in Paris last week.
So, all right, Ellen, let's just bring up a little picture here live. We're just getting this live in, and I'm taking a look at it for the first time, but it's the ongoing investigation. This is from the neighborhood of Saint-Denis, which, as Ellen has been saying, is just to the north of Paris, and it is there where police focused that massive, that ferocious raid yesterday. You see the tent still up, the heavy vehicle there still in place, and officers coming and going, and we'll keep an eye on this live shot. They continue to do forensics and to look at this apartment building, because in the assault on that building, it's pretty much, as people described it, witnesses, as a war zone. Much had collapsed, rocks all over the place, a lot of debris and damage, and they are obviously working inside that building to try to gather further evidence. There was some talk that there may even be a third body in there. There had been reports of that before. So we have a live shot of that we're going to keep an eye on, as we have word that in that attack, that raid on that apartment building, the ringleader of this deadly attack last Friday was in fact killed. So that leaves me the question, Ellen, of the latest on the whereabouts of Salah Abdeslam, the 8th attacker, perhaps the only surviving attacker. There are new raids this morning in Belgium. I don't know if they're looking for him or if that's connected in any way. What can you tell us about the search for really Europe's most wanted?
Well, that's right, Heather. Certainly Europe's most wanted man, Salah Abdeslam. He is believed to have been directly involved in last week's attacks in Paris. His brother, it's believed, was one of the suicide bombers in the attack, and he is still subject of an international manhunt. Now, there were a series of raids in Brussels this morning. It's believed some of the properties that were raided were connected to Salah Abdeslam, as well as a suicide bomber in last week's attacks, a man named Bilal Hadfi. We're still waiting to hear more about what might come out of those raids. But as you say, Heather, Salah Abdeslam, Europe's most wanted man at this point, and the manhunt for him continues.
Ellen, thank you very much. Ellen Moreau in Place de la République for us, going to be with us all through as we bring you the latest on the breaking news and again look back at what is happening in Saint-Denis.